called Haloyim Yahweh, Bahasham, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, Barakatham. Shalom. This is your fellow servant Tazawar from the GMS Orlando camp, here with another lesson. First, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone whom rule well and from whom we learn his truth. Shalom to you, Akim, who are not in GMS but are pushing likewise doctrine in spirit and in truth with all sincerity. To you few sisters that are listening and learning, as well as you speckled birds who are scattered among the nations, looking like those nations, to the 144,000 elect men and the rest of the hopeful elect. To you I say, Shalom. Yeah, hey, so this video, you know, it's just more, we'll call it a continuation of the previous video, right? Where I spoke on the EU, the European Union, putting out a warning, right? Putting out a warning to 450 million civilians in the EU, NATO nations to stockpile, right? And so that was like a week ago. And I wanted to see if anything had came of it, anything more was going to come of it. And you had a few days ago, you know, this guy, and we'll watch a clip on it real quick here in a second, but a brief commentary. You know, this guy, Trump, all right, 47, whatever, he is on a warpath, just like that Benjamin, not a you, right? Not a you, Jew. And the two paths are going to converge. All right, they have to. All right, because first and foremost is prophecy. All right, and the scriptures tell us that the least of the flock will draw them out. We're going to get that in a minute too. Right, but we know through the conversation, right, in the talking points of the previous administration and also this current administration, right, who sit in the White House, right, the what's the word I'm looking for? The taskmasters, the errand boys of the elites. Okay, these guys are the errand boys of your super elites, and those elites are the ones that have the blueprint of what they want the world to look like, the agenda that's at hand. All right, so you can understand those that sit in their high places without being elected. The heads of your who dat, right? Who dat World Health Organization, right? And your WEF, right? WEF, the World Economic Forum, So the people that sit at the helm of that's at the top of those organizations, those are the people that's plugged in, members of those top families, all right? And those are the people that they want in the limelight, pulling the strings, all right? Because in high power families like that, there's a hierarchy, man. All right? And make no mistake, those are patrilineage style families, all right? Where the men sit at the head. Regardless of the bullshit that they spewing down here amongst the masses, the so-called common folk. All right? But anyway, let me grab this clip real quick, because your boy Donnie J making threats. You feel me? He making threats, trying to bully Iran, because Iran in the past has bent to the will of America, right? Now they may have put up some resistance before, for sake to save face and shit like that. So Trump trying to see if that old player still work. Well, guess what, buddy? And how the Edomites be calling, buddy. Guess what, buddy boy? That shit ain't gonna work this time, man. You know why? Because Iran is part of the BRICS conglomerate now, man. They got backing and heavy artillery of their own, first and foremost, to go with the talking points, the lip service that they got. Pretty much, they are eloquently saying "fuck you" to Donnie J and the American regime, man. Right? So they got their own shit. They got their own artillery, man. Their own armory with high power weapons. And they gave a show of force. All right? On what they could do if they wanted to. Already, when they shot them rockets over there, them missiles over there, to Israel, man, the state of Israel. So on top of that, which the Iron Dome couldn't do shit with that. You feel me? So the Iron Dome couldn't do shit with that, and then on top of that, you got them plugged into a whole nother system that's raising up in the earth. Right? That's rivaling NATO. That other system being BRICS, being the BRICS conglomerate, the BRICS Union. That's what I call it. I don't know if they call it a union. But the BRICS Union, they are rivaling NATO, man. And not just in artillery at this point. They're rivaling NATO in trade deals and in industrial and technological booms and advancements. Right? So Iran ain't trying to hear shit that Trump got to say, man. They tired. How they say? They tired. They are tired. All right, but let's listen to this real quick. We probably not gonna get the whole thing because I've been bumping my gums for 10 minutes already and ain't pulled one scripture yet. So let's listen to this clip real quick.
Are the US and Iran readying for war? That's our top focus tonight on Gravitas. At the moment, things seem to be heading in the direction of a far more dangerous war in West Asia, one between America and Iran. You see, so far, they have fought via allies, but today those tensions have edged closer to the point of no return. After US President Donald Trump's explosive remarks where he vowed bombing if Tehran refuses to accept a new nuclear deal, Iran has reportedly called for preemptive strike on a remote US military base in the Indian Ocean.
All right, so let's pause right there. So, two things. She said they've gone to war before via allies or via allies, right? Via allies. And so what we know that to be is the same shit that's going on right now with America backing Ukraine, okay, against Russia. That's called a proxy war, okay? That's called a proxy war, meaning America funds money, resources, and weapons, food rations, weapons, okay, and to some degree probably some sort of training, or maybe even operatives that are off the books, all right, which people would know as missionaries, okay, but they got operatives, okay, CIA, all your alphabet organizations, CIA, FBI, UPS, SPA, what, whatever. You know what I'm saying? All those alphabet organizations. I'm not talking about the alphabet soup drinkers. I ain't talking about the fairy crowd. I'm talking about the government alphabet organizations, like I just mentioned. Okay, so that's one. Proxy wars. Okay. Second, she said, let's get it. What she said?
The Diego Garcia military vowed bombing if Tehran refused.
Oh, that's it. That's what I wanted to say. Preemptive, right? Preemptive. Let's get that word preemptive real quick. Hold on. This the word preemptive. It's just a Google search, right? Preemptive. Preemptive means done or taken before something else happens, especially to prevent it or to gain an advantage. All right? A strategic advantage is talking about. Okay? Just like when they did some shit with the pipeline, the gas pipeline, that mysteriously fucking went up in smoke. Right? And then everybody looking around like, oh shit, who done it? Right? It's often used in the context of actions taken to deter an anticipated unpleasant situation or to gain an advantage. You see that? Then when you scroll down, it says examples. A preemptive strike is an action taken before an attack is expected. And it's usually to prevent your opposition from gaining an advantage over you. So you wipe out their resources. Okay? So keep that in mind. That's the other part. Now let's let this continue to play.
Refuses to accept a new nuclear deal, Iran has reportedly called for preemptive strike on a remote U.S. military base in the Indian Ocean.
US
The Diego
military base in the
Garcia
Indian
military
Ocean. There you go.
base. You heard that right. According to the British Daily, The Telegraph, Iranian military called for preemptive strike on a remote U.S. military base in the Indian Ocean. The Diego Garcia military base. You heard that right. According to the British Daily, The Telegraph, Iranian military commanders are facing calls for preemptive strike on the Chagos Island base before U.S. President Donald Trump uses it to attack the Islamic Republic. What's the trigger, you ask? America's deployment of B-2 Spirit jets there, aptly called ghosts in the sky, the B-2 bombers basically are capable of slipping past even the most advanced air defenses. And according to the latest satellite imagery, at least 3 B-2 Spirit jets arrived at the strategic outpost last week. Remember, the Diego Garcia base serves as a key launchpad for US-UK operations, especially in West Asia. The Telegraph cites pro-Iranian voices saying that the island should have been targeted long before America deployed bombers there. As per the British Daily, the base supports B-1 Lancer, B-2 Spirit, the B-52 Stratofortress bombers. Additionally, at least four.
All right, so she going through all the planes and stuff, right? That's at this military base or resources, U.S. resources that have been sent over to that base. All right. And we've been telling y'all, for a grip that this finna happen. Before it happened. And let me, Salaki, grab some scripture. We don't need that no more. Let's get, hold on, I need this one. 2nd Ezra. Bear with me. This is supposed to be a short video. I ain't mean to talk for 10 minutes in the beginning, but, you know, hey, that's the spirit. So, the Lord willed it. This is 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra is chapter 15. I think I'm going to start at 1. Sidebar, totally unrelated. You know, spring season hitting. If you able, like I don't know if y'all can hear me kind of chewing on these little ginger chews. All right. It got like 2 grams of sugar or whatever. Go get you some of them. You know, while people still getting over their little illnesses or whatever. Anyway, this is 2nd Ezra 15 and 1. And it reads, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. All right. These words are faithful and true, man. All right. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Right? Because we tell, hey, listen, we been telling y'all for years. Right? Before I came into the camp of GMS, I used to watch GMS and some other camps too, but then I kind of faded away from them other camps because they was, the Lord took them out of my radar, man, because they wasn't bringing the truth. So I would be telling my family like, hey, you know, Russia gonna do this, it's finna be World War III, you know, the Valley of Jehoshaphat over here, yada yada yada, America gonna be wiped out, it's gonna get bombed. Right? And I got that from the elders and apostles of GMS, man, a great millstone. On down. Now here it is. Through the timing of the Lord, he plugged me in to a camp. Right? Because I was praying, sending up prayers and petitions for that. And the Lord plugged me in. And now, as a part of the brother, you know, the body, we've been telling you all, men before me, because I've entered into other men's labors, but this has been a thing for 40 plus years. All right, these prophecies, man, at least. But there are people that are of the mind of, well, that ain't gonna happen in my lifetime. Them niggas in the cult, they crazy. Right? I remember probably about, had to be going on 12 years ago, I was having these conversations, you know, with some people that I was close with when I was in college, man, in school. And they look at me like, oh, this nigga, man, that'll never happen. Like, America never. And these are Jakes I'm talking about. We're not talking about proud Edomites who, you know, the Lord put the spirit of pride on them and gave them this kingdom. This is Jake feeling like, oh, that shit'll never happen. Ain't nobody gonna come against America. That's you so-called Negroes and Latinos, man, and you so-called Native Americans. Believe so much in your oppressor, man. Lean so much onto your oppressor that you don't believe the words that the Lord sent through the Spirit. He put it in a book for us to read, and these prophecies, right? Because a lot of people talk about, oh, well, it's a book. You believe a book. Hey, it's prophetic. You niggas don't have a problem reading and believing 48 Laws of Power, or the Egyptian Book of the Dead, or the Quran, or the Code of Hammurabi, or whatever else. But when it comes to the book of the Lord, all right, and the prophets, you niggas get simple, and you want to question everything. When we can point to you prophecies that were spoken of in the past that have come true since then, in historical times, prophecies that have happened in our lifetime, and these prophecies are going to happen in our lifetime, just in the near future. All right? But you still don't believe. And that's what, hey, you're the unfaithful that the scriptures are talking about, man. All right? For verse 4, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Meaning the Lord is going to seal it. He's going to make it so you can't change your mind. It's going to be too late. By the time shit happens, the doors of mercy will have closed. Your conscience will be seared. But you're going to remember, the Lord's going to make you remember all of those times and conversations that the men of the Lord, all right, through his appointed vessels, that he's used to warn the people, man, that y'all made mockery of. All right. Verse 5, behold, and you, the lot of you that walk past the camps, hitting these bars and these clubs every fucking weekend, man, scoffing, turning your nose up in the air and shit. Y'all too. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. The sword, we see that right now with the wars. Famine, you see that right now with the culling of all of those food processing plants. Death, diseases, all right, and destruction. These things are in the world as we speak. All right, for the wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. All right. And so we will continue to prophesy until the Lord take the breath out of our lungs, or until he's done with us, or Yahweh Ratazah, until we obtain salvation, until Yahweh Shai come beam us up, man. I don't want Ratazah, Yahweh Ratazah. All right. Bahashama Mashak Yahweh Shai, man. This is the second verse I want to get real quick. I'm going to go back to the blue letter in case I want to pull a word. This is Jeremiah 51. And I'm going to start at 1 over here too. All right, this is Jeremiah 51. Because, listen, what's going to happen is the conflict between Israel, which is ongoing, right? If you notice that lady who's a Elamite, right, so-called East Indian, she said in the Muslim world, okay? He said in the Muslim world. Yo. Well, the state of Israel, all right, they're not going to stop trying to off them Palestinians, man. All right, and those war crimes are going to increase because the insatiableness of Esau Edom, man. All right, and what's going to happen is those other Arab countries who look at those Palestinians as brethren, hey, the Lord going to raise them spirits up, man. And not to mention, as the prophecies say, Gog and Magog, which is Russia. All right, let's get this, though. This is Jeremiah 51, and it reads, Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me. Right? A destroying wind. He gonna raise up against them a destroying wind. All right? And will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. Right? So this wind is a wind of destruction, and the Lord is going to appoint fanners, men, angels, all right, to help direct that wind via fans, to go through the midst of Babylon to direct that destruction, all right? And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Well, we already got Russia right there in the north, who's against America. All right, this whore, who is Mystery Babylon, Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon. All right, that's America. All right, that whore that rides on the beast, that's America, man. Babylon the Great. All right, so you got Russia in the north, right? You got Iran and Hamas and all those Arab nations over there in the east, right? And then you have then you got China, that's over there in the far east. Right? China's in the far east. So they could come, and if you look at the map, China could come from it's easier for China to come around to the western shore of America than it is to go all the way around all those other countries over India, over Europe, over Africa, across the Atlantic. No. China's going to come from the west. Okay, they're far east. That's the terminology that they put. That's the far east. That's Eastern Asia. So when you look on the map, it's easier for them to come from the west. Right? So that's those, north, east, and west are covered, man. Because the missiles that's going to come that hit California gonna come from China, man. This is me speaking as a man, but that would make the most sense. Right? It's cold how the Lord got that. And then you got that whole China-Taiwan conflict on top of that, right? They talking about the South China Sea and all that. Anyway, that's still over there towards the west. If you look at the map. If you look at a map. Okay? Now, so that's roundabout. Oh. And then if you look directly to the north. America got tariffs going on with Canada. And then if you look at in the South, directly south, America got static with Mexico now. This nigga Trump, they've sent ICE to snatch up all the Issacharites, all the Mexicans, the so-called Mexicans, and even some of the northern tribes, the Latin tribes that was here legally. He done snatched their ass up and sent them. So now Mexico fucking like, all right, bitches, we finna make it more difficult for y'all to do y'all thing. You got people over here, hey, we gonna make it hard. That's how you want to get down. Let's how they say, faithful, fuck around, find out, right? So this guy done isolated. This motherfucker ain't even been in office a year yet. He done isolated America from over half the allies. And that means saying half is being generous. All right. So that's roundabout, man. Because that's both military and political. All right. Military, let me say it like this. Military and financial, so you can understand. For in the day of trouble, they shall be they shall be against her round about, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, right? And who been bending their bow the whole time? America, always flexing that arsenal, that military arsenal. We gonna bomb your ass. He just pulled the same shit with Iran. We just watched it. We just watched the news clip on that. But that's what they known for. They put military bases everywhere. Then they would go around flexing and shit, talking about, hey, you seen what we did to Japan? Them motherfuckers still got radiation poison over there. Right? You see what we did? You see what we did to Russia? We isolated them, made them a desolate country. Ain't nobody want to do business with them. Right? And they thinking that them tariffs gonna have the same effect. Hey, them people, they doing their own shit, man. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. And against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men. Why the young men? Because the young men are made for what? Populating your nation and going to war. Right? The young men are the ones who populate your nation and go to war during wartime. Destroy ye utterly all her host. Thus the slain shall fall by the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. Right? For Israel have not been forsaken. What? Because what? The scriptures say there shall be a day of trouble, even a day of Jacob's trouble, but Israel shall be saved out of it. Right? For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord Yahweh of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Right? Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. All right. And this is talking about spiritually. You understand? Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord's Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. You see that? And that's the point, but we'll read down a couple more. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. And you seeing that. All right? You seeing that. And soon we going to be rejoicing in the fall of this place, man. Now, yes, of course, we have to go through the strait. Right? It's going to be hard times to hit all of it. But the scriptures say during times of famine, the Lord's servant shall eat, man. So while everybody else catching hell, the men of the Lord gonna be straight. Now it ain't gonna be, 5-star cushy hotels and shit. It ain't gonna be the lavish life. But considering what's gonna take place, it's gonna be a huge blessing. A huge blessing. That the Lord will cover the men of the Lord, man. All right. But yeah. Verse 7 again. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken with her philosophies, right? That bullshit ass democracy, right? And all the morality and unjust laws that come with it. The nations have drunken of her wine, right? Believed in those philosophies and taken on Western customs and culture. Therefore, the nations are mad. Why? Because they have destroyed the integrity of the cultures of those nations, man, that still had some semblance. Now, don't get me wrong. These nations are not righteous by any means, but there was still some semblance of structure, order, all right, and decorum, right? Those patriotic societies, man. And when you do a quick Google search and you look at some of the characteristics of countries that go under and fall to shit before their demise, it always tell you that the women get out of hand, and that sexual lewdness skyrockets, man. And that's what we've seen, especially in this previous administration, man. They let all that shit run rampant. But they think Trump finna come along and say today, that's just not gonna happen. Just not gonna happen. This is Revelation 12:12. Hold on. Let me go back one time. Jeremiah 50 and what I want, 40. Yeah, this is Jeremiah 50 and 40. This is Jeremiah 50 and 40. And it reads, as God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord Yahweh, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance, right? Lance is a long staff or a spear. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, everyone put in array, like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. You see that? So this cruelty is coming against the daughter of Babylon. The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Right? How's he heard the report? Because they search the scriptures themselves. They got they soothsayers and diviners on the left hand side. They sorcerers and warlocks and shit. They be tapping to the left hand side on Satan, dealing with CERN, right? Opening portals and all of that. Right? All of that spirit cooking. All of those sacrifices that are being made. Y'all know the ones I'm talking about. Had them tunnels and stuff that was found up there in New York. All these missing people and shit. Right? So they be tapping into that. So the Lord, hey, the elder Yashawamba and one of the head brothers at the Orlando camp, this camp, who it was? I believe it was Azaria, did a lesson on how them devils was tapping into CERN, and they got that notification that the same thing that Daniel seen on the wall. And you know, when you go back and read the book of Daniel about the time being short, Babylon is found wanting, right? Roughly paraphrased. I forget how it's exactly pronounced, many tekel or something like that. But yeah, so they know. And on top of that, you have the men of the Lord that's out here pushing the word, man. Through the unicorn, through the World Wide Web, the internet. And soon it's going to be the Internet of Things. And they desire for you to be caught in that web of things. But that's another lesson. The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs as of a woman in travail. All right. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong, but I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? Right? So 43 was the point. I finished this verse out since I started it. For who is like me? Right? And who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Oh, call hello Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. I said I was going to bring that out. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right? At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved. What's the taking? Right? The taking over. What's the noise? Gonna be them booms. All right? Them sonic booms from the missiles going off, breaking the sound barrier. But then those nuclear explosions, man, and buildings collapsing. Those booms. That's going to be the noise. All right? And the screaming. Right? The destruction, man. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. Call Elohim Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Mahar. Right? Now let's get Revelation 12:12. You know, and Lord willing, we be counted amongst that number where we get to witness the downfall of our enemy. All right, of our enemies, and obtain salvation. All right, through our Lord and Savior, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh Ratazah, man. All right, this is Revelation 12:12. Therefore, rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. All right. And he does know, man. This is why Trump is in there on the warpath. That's why that bitch is on it. He own it. He ain't mincing no words. He ain't taking no vacations. He got in office and was active, getting active off on day one. Week one, he was getting active. And he gonna continue to do so. So we gonna see what happened, man. All right, anyway, I pray this lesson finds you well. I pray that it was edifying. Till next time, shalom. Stay prayed up. And keep your eyes to the sky. And stay tuned into those secondary news media channels. All right? So you can stay updated on what's going on in the earth. Shalom. Wa abba. Shalak Rayum.